Hey guys, today we're discussing Ultimatum. Not to be confused with Old Tomato, which is what I really want to throw at Vanessa Lachey. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking the Ultimatum. Yes, you heard me right. The number one show on Netflix right now. I had so many requests to talk about this one, so here we are. The Ultimatum, marry or move on. And it is as ridiculous as it sounds. But I'm not doing this alone. I'm here with Jay, who I gave an ultimatum to watch it, and, well...
Yeah, after making me watch this, enjoy single life. Just kidding. If that was an offense worth leaving you for, we would have been over a long time ago. So hey, this is Jay, also known as Dr. Bad Vibes on YouTube. I'm here to watch this train wreck game show.
So guys, you know me, I love to be honest with you, and I'm going to be totally honest here. We watched the first episode. I don't know what to think. I have a lot of opinions that we'll talk about. Overall, the show is pretty terrible. These are pretty awful people. It's hard to root for any of them. I do have, silly things to say along the way, which we'll get into, but Season 1, Episode 1, this one's called The Split, and I'm going to go over what this show is about in case you're curious and see if you want to watch it. And you can let me know in the comments if it's something you want me to stick with. I'm probably not going to. There's better things to talk about than this show. Again, pretty terrible people. Can't really stand Vanessa Lachey. Not really a fan of Nick Lachey either, so, not a lot going for it, but, we'll still talk about it. So let's talk about this first episode. First of all, did you watch it? Are you going to watch it? Have you heard of it?
So I came into this knowing absolutely nothing. We open up with downtown Julie Brown and Daisy Duke's ex telling us that it's an ultimatum has been issued. It's like a reality game show. Basically, we're couples on the brink get to say, hey, marry me, or... don't and break up, but they get paid to do it, so it's perfect if you're on the fringe already. You can profit off of it, and then I guess split the money and be done.
Wow, I didn't even know he was going to call Vanessa Downtown Julie Brown. In case you have no idea what we're talking about, she was what do they call him? VJ, thank you, on MTV. And so was Downtown Julie Brown. And then, of course, Nick famously married Jessica Simpson, and that's where he's going with Daisy Duke. Okay, let me tell you a little bit more about this show. Okay, so yeah, Jay's right. Basically, Nick and Vanessa explained that everybody's there, so it's all these couples. They're there because one of the people in the couple has issued some sort of ultimatum, saying that they have to have a proposal or they're done. A really healthy thing in a relationship. And it's people that are not sure about the relationship. So they have options. They can either leave this thing engaged with the person they came with, or they could meet somebody there that's there with another partner, and they could hook up and they could leave potentially engaged, which would be hilarious if that happened. And then, or you could all leave home or leave here broken up. So there's a lot of shitty options for a lot of shitty people. So it is an interesting concept. It's just, I don't know. I mean, we'll get into the couples. Again, I just keep going back to they got some pretty shitty people, it seems like. There's nobody yet that I've seen that I'm like, oh, hey, I'm rooting for that person. Nah, not really.
Yeah, nobody really seems like a peach, but... keep in mind the format and the premise behind the show. What normal person is going to agree to this?
I also want to make fun of the name of the show for a minute. Okay, you guys were always on the same page, so help me out because I cannot figure it out. There is some show, it was either Friends, maybe The Office, one show like that where they talk about an ultimatum and the other person keeps saying they're talking about an old tomato. It sounds like something Joey would say. I Googled it, and I found out that they do talk about it on Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates, which we've seen, so maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But is there a show where they talk about ultimatum/old tomato? Let me know in the comments. Okay, so I'm going to get into the first couple here. Alexis and Hunter. They've been dating for 2 years. They're either going to get engaged or break up. No shit, that's what they all say. Hunter says he felt ready, but he won't answer the question. It's very odd. And... at the end of this, he says he will have an answer for her whether or not he's ready to be engaged. So again, this is somebody you're maybe thinking about marrying, but you can't tell them until you're done with a game show where you potentially bang somebody else. That's not a red flag at all. She looks so much like, I would say, it's like if Gretchen Rossi and Alex McCord from Real Housewives of New York had a baby. That's all I could see with her face. She's listed as like 24 years old, but no, she's 40. No, am I missing something? She's 40. She's a housewife, right? I don't know if it's her makeup or if there's been tweaks or twerks or whatever else. She looks like a housewife. So there's my thought on that. Oh, and he to me looks like why am I forget everybody's name as soon as the show ends. Is it Nick, the guy that ended up with Danielle from Love Is Blind?
So the next couple we meet are Madlyn and Colby, dating 1.5 years. They met in college while he was working at a bar, and he knew that she was the one when he saw her. He's ready. He's 100% ready to propose to her, and she just doesn't seem that into him. She referred to him as annoying at one part. He seems kind of like a borderline dweeby guy that was a frat bro and just like really leans into that because that works. And she seems like a bitch, like a super bitch. Like she's probably the one I paid the most attention to because I just want to see her get crushed by the end of this show. I don't know if we'll see it, but I'll probably look it up later. But anyway, he's afraid to lose her for some reason. Maybe she seems to be the only one that's not interested in him, so maybe that's the attraction. I don't know, but yeah, she's very unlikable.
It's funny. I got the exact same vibe, and I didn't even tell him to say that. I felt the same way. I felt like she was just so mean to him the whole time, and that's all I could hope is that because she's pushing him away so hard, I'm hoping he hooks up with somebody else, and he might. And that she ends up alone because she's terrible. She just seems like such a mean person. But you know who she reminds me of is, what's her name? Ariana from, God, why am I forgetting everything? Ariana from Vanderpump Rules. That's the vibe where they're kind of too cool for school, kind of aloof. And I like her, Ariana. Not so much Madlyn. On Vanderpump Rules, but just kind of that aloof, like, you can chase me, I'm not chasing you, that kind of thing. That definitely. But I think Jay hit the nail on the head. Colby just seems kind of sniveling, kind of insecure maybe, and the fact that, if a girl wants him, he's not into her, but this girl is pushing away from him, so he's like double into her. It just seems like their relationship is doomed and all about games, so no thanks. Okay, so here's Lauren and Nate. They've been together for 2 years. He says he knows he loves her more than anything, but they can't work out their issues because of this kid thing. She says she doesn't want kids. He says he does want kids. I'm thinking this is definitely a terrible idea to come on the show because if neither one of you are going to bend on that, then that should be that. It does come out later that she might want kids and that it's because he works all the time. She doesn't want to do it alone. I respect that, but maybe tell him that. So I'm guessing they have bigger issues than, not just that, but they have more issues because they can't seem to talk to each other. Now, you can't tell in this picture. I'll try to find another picture of Lauren. Do you watch Big Brother at all? She reminds me so much of Christmas on Big Brother. That's just very much that vibe, like all the tattoos. Even the way she looks and holds herself reminds me very much of Christmas from Big Brother. A little bit nuts. Kind of got that vibe. Also from Christmas from Big Brother. A little bit nuts. She got, if you don't know, she got, look it up. Google her. She got in a little trouble for doing some stuff to her ex-boyfriend's car. But let's see. So yeah, Nate is like skinny Seth Rogen to me. Like, he's cute. I don't know if they have too much in common. I don't know that he's going to be interested in anybody else, though. He does seem to like her, so we'll see.
I'm Seth Rogen, and I laugh at things.
Okay, so this is April and Jake. I think she is really beautiful, and I think he looks a lot like Steph Curry. I don't really follow basketball, but he looks familiar to me. Okay, so April gave Jake the ultimatum. I almost said ultimatum there. I had to pause. So He just left the military not that long ago. He wants to be able to become more financially stable before he proposes. I mean, hello, can't you respect that? They're like, she's 23 and he's 26. Like, slow your roll a little bit. Good Lord. But April wants a family as soon as possible and says she'll be done with this relationship if this doesn't basically push him into getting engaged. Sounds healthy, huh?
Yeah, this one, the girl gave the ultimatum basically to scare him into proposing to her, where the ultimatum is basically, hey, propose to me or don't and go fuck a bunch of people. And logic seems to point towards him picking the latter. That's what it looks like.
Then we go to Rae and Zay. Rae is 24, Zay is 25. Rae has everything mapped out in her life, but she's graduated college, so she thinks the next step is a proposal from her boyfriend. They've been together 2.5 years. She's already planned out a honeymoon in Cancun and eventually a family, but Zay is not so sure about all that right now. He's actually still in college, so maybe again, like, slow your roll a little bit. Good Lord. So I was trying not to jump ahead, but I'll tell you something funny. So this Rae is all hell bent on marrying Zay, but she's like one of the very first we see actually start to fall for somebody else. So that same, like the very next day, so the whole thing is you get to spend this evening with your partner, but then starting tomorrow you're single. And you have to meet somebody else and spend a couple weeks with them before you go back to your partner to see if this is what you want. Well, she's like the first one to find somebody. She finds Jake, the guy I just said, kind of looks like Steph Curry a little bit. And it's just funny to me because she's there to pressure Zay into marriage. And then she can't wait to talk shit about Zay with this new guy that she likes. So, interesting. And the last couple we have is Shanique and Randall. So Shanique's 24, Randall's 26. Shanique wants a big family and a big wedding. And Randall he mentioned having some debt and he wants to get out of the debt before he moves on with her. She doesn't seem to understand this, and she hopes to be able to push him into marriage because, that always works out. Now, let me tell you about Randall. Randall is very good looking. And who notices is Madlyn, that one that we both said was kind of a bitch, the blonde girl. She notices Randall right off the bat. And they have a moment later where they really gravitate toward each other. So they're one of the first couples to form as well. They kind of seem to really like each other. So we'll see how that plays out. Okay, so this is the part of the episode where I'm going to talk shit about specifically Vanessa, but Nick and Vanessa. So they're the hosts. I don't understand why we need hosts. We actually don't need hosts. To me, it just slowed the show down. Vanessa always seems to make it about her, and so she likes to talk about her and Nick and be so relatable to the little people on the show. That's the same vibe I get on Love is Blind. It just kind of bugs me. She tries to relate to everybody, and it just comes across as, I don't know, condescending, cocky, full of herself, whatever you want to call it. And it becomes the Vanessa show, and so it kind of loses me. Honestly, that's when I pick up my phone and zone out because I just don't care about either one of these two. We don't need hosts for this. It doesn't really add anything to me. It just slowed everything down. She also does this thing, and I noticed it in the Love is Blind as well, and I noticed it here, is she sets up Nick with these, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like she sets him up to have him fall all over himself for her, like to talk about what a prize she is, and I'm just like, oh, God. No, thank you. So that's the gist of what happens. I mean, that's the big points. I'll tell you there's some funny things along the way that kind of go on too. We'll talk about it. I'm just going to let these pictures play because I just took pictures of the episode. But, I mean, like I said, there really wasn't too much except for Alexis, this girl here, really thinks she's a prize and pretty much lets everybody know that she is. She scares everybody off that she talks to and has a very awkward moment later with that frat guy bro we were talking about, but we'll get there. Again, we see Madlyn really bonding hard with, oh my God, I'm forgetting everybody's name, Randall. Madlyn and Randall are really liking each other. Of course, her frat guy bro that she brought with her, Colby, is not digging watching these two flirt at the pool. I gotta say, I find Randall very attractive, so I get it, but I don't know. I just am not a fan of Madlyn, so I hope he picks the girl he came with, and I hope Colby finds somebody else. So Colby meets a bunch of girls and isn't sure that he even says, like, I don't think I like anybody until he meets Lauren, the girl with all the tattoos, and he seems to like her, and they hit it off right off the bat. So we'll see what happens there. Again, it'd just be funny if Madlyn gets her heart broken. What else? Oh, this was funny. Alexis is like all into Colby and flirting with him very awkwardly, and then talks about her expensive upkeep. I mean, just nothing that anybody ever wants to hear, especially when you're first meeting somebody. He literally, like, to the cameras, like, wow, about her. Do you see what I mean? She looks like Gretchen, and also, Alex McCord a little bit there. But I don't know. She just came on very strong. And later they have a conversation where she admits to everybody in the group that she is into him, and he bugs me. He's kind of full of himself, but he actually did the nicest thing he could. He was polite to her in front of the group, but on the side, he kind of says, like, we met once. I don't know about this. And she's like, well, fuck you. That she didn't say that, but it's basically like one of those, like, well, you couldn't have this anyway. It's like, oh, slow down the crazy a little bit. You guys have met one time.
So in closing, I hope everybody on this show splits up, because if you're a couple that goes on this show for money, well, I guess unless it's a ruse to get money, but if you're a couple that goes on this show in most cases, you probably need to split up. Or maybe everybody will marry each other, and then they can move into a cave in Utah where TLC will pick them up for another show for like 10 seasons. The end.
Wow, I would totally watch and recap that show. So it ends on a cliffhanger, kind of, where April, who is with Jake. So Jake's hitting it off really well with, God, I'm trying to remember all their names. Who's the attractive girl? Rae. So Rae and Jake are hitting it off. They slide in cozy on one side of a bench seat. I don't know. They look like they're going to smooch it up. And then all of a sudden, Jake's maybe fiance, April, comes up with Nate, Lauren's it's a lot of stupid names. Who cares? They come up and it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, like, uh-oh, April's making moves on Jake. Or, I mean, that's who she came with, but she's, like, cock-blocking him. I don't know. Like, he's trying to hook up with Rae, and she's kind of cock-blocking, bringing another guy over, showing him what he's missing. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, guys. There's a lot to this show. You got to let me know in the comments. I think I'm done here. I think Jay might give me an ultimatum for real if I make him watch another episode. But no, you just have to let me know in the comments. If you guys are super into it and you want to keep going, I will. I will. But otherwise, let's move on and find something else, because I don't think that this is it. But let me know your thoughts. Are you watching it? Have you watched ahead? Does it get better? Just let me know. Thank you guys so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a fabulous day, and I will talk to you again very soon. Don't forget Jay. Don't forget to check out his channel, Dr. Bad Vibes. He plays fun, nerdy video games if you're into that sort of thing. Also, if you like this recap with Jay, we've been doing lots of recaps together, but we have a lot of fun on, like, the Karate Kid recap. Look for that. We did the Queen of Versailles. Look for that. All kinds of stuff. But he's Dr. Bad Vibes. Check him out. Thanks again for being here. I really appreciate it. Leave those comments, those thumbs up. They all help me. Check out my second channel, RHR. That's right there on my page. You'll be able to find the link. And check out Patreon if you're interested in. And I will talk to you again soon. Stay healthy and safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh yeah, my personal favorite. Be sure to check out the video on cringy texts and flirting over the internet, because I got to read those in a lot of my cartoon voices, which I don't get to do often, and that was a lot of fun. Watch it.